All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're 2 minutes late. All things considered, that's not bad. Set for 1 o'clock this afternoon is People versus Edwin Otto Smith. Mr. Smith is here with his lawyer, Jordan Hard. Also present is his probation agent, Autumn Kiefer. Mr. Smith was placed on probation in a very contentious case. The victim was so angry in this case. Took it out on Mr. Smith and me. They issued a bench warrant for her arrest. She went to Florida and never came back. Alcohol was always an undercurrent in this case. And the defendant was placed on probation. He was convicted of failing to stop at the scene of a personal injury accident. Placed on probation to Autumn, the supervisor, back in September of 2024. It was quite a heated sentence. Autumn has filed a probation violation alleging that he has failed to abstain from the use of alcohol or drugs. Defendant pled not guilty to that matter. It was set for hearing today. I would note also Angelique Camfield from the prosecutor's office is here with us. Autumn stopped me, and again, we were both busy this morning, and I had a meeting at noon. Apparently sometime earlier today, some sort of additional treatment report came in that I haven't seen yet. Jordan, what's our plan of
Thank you, Your Honor. I did speak with Mr. Smith a couple weeks ago. We did go over the petition of the probation violation and the report, kind of the supporting basis for the filing of the petition. In talking with Mr. Smith, he is willing to make an admission today. I did advise him of Ms. Kiefer's recommendation and what I would be asking the court to impose as far as a sanction today, but we are ready to proceed with an admission.
All right. Mr. Smith, you were placed on probation, and it was a condition of your probation that you not use alcohol. And apparently you continue to use it, and we continue to struggle. So you have a right to have a hearing on that. Would have to be proven beyond a preponderance that you violated in terms of your probation. We're prepared to proceed with that. But however, you can also just admit and acknowledge that you violated the probation, and then we'll figure out what we want to do now. We are all of the opinion that you don't want to be on probation anymore and would like this to be over. So do you understand you have a right to have a hearing regarding this violation?
Yes, sir.
And by giving that right up, you'll be giving up the right to have a hearing and the right to be presumed guilty, at least by a preponderance of evidence.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the report that you were placed on probation in September, and we've been struggling all along. You're positive January 25th, February 4th of 25, May 9th of 25, May 12th of 25. We'd had a previous PV, and so let's just go to May. On May, sometime in May of this year, did you consume alcohol in violation of the terms of your probation?
I'm not sure.
Well, you tested positive on May 9 and May 12.
Yes.
What's your alcohol of choice?
Vodka.
With what?
Nothing. I just have a couple shots from my nerves, sir.
Yeah, well, that's multiple red flags. Vodka is a big one, and straight vodka is the red flag is on fire. All right, so you're struggling. You lost your job at American Axle.
Yes, sir.
Was that alcohol related?
No, sir.
And where are you now?
I'm working for my aunt and Signs and More in Schoolcraft.
Signs and More?
Yeah, we had irreconcilable differences at Precision Electric.
All right. Ms. Kiefer, what's your thought here?
Well, after receiving the treatment update this morning from his therapist at Pivotal. Mr. Smith just wants to be off this probation. I will note, he has been negative for testing since June, which is great. He's recently gone through some medical issues. We just need to be done with this probation. Initially, I recommended 2 days in jail. I would just wipe the remaining fines, be done.
He hasn't completely paid his fine and costs.
No, not totally. There's still $440 left. He paid $165.
All right. Jordan, what's your thought here?
Thank you, Your Honor. In talking to Mr. Smith, it does sound like he's of the opinion that probation is not really of a benefit to him right now. As Ms. Kiefer indicated, he has in a report been complying. He reports he's attending, treatment as he should. He does have some health issues right now, which make his ability to pay on those fines and costs somewhat difficult, but if a payment plan was afforded to him, he would be able to comply with that. We would ask that any additional jail time, he get credit for what he served. I believe he did some time on that violation back in February.
He did 10 days, I think, and then he did a couple more on
Yes.
some of the violations.
Correct. We would just be asking for no additional jail time served and then to revoke the probation, and everyone can just kind of move on with their lives. Thank you.
Ms. Canfield, do you have a thought on this? You weren't here when this all went down, but
Your Honor, I guess my concern is that by saying he just wants to be off probation, that just
every probationer wants to be off probation.
exactly. And I think that just allows them to decide whether or not they wish to comply. And obviously that's not the case because we wouldn't be here if that was their choice. It's an actual order of this court that he's violated. And not only one occasion, a multitude of times, as can be seen from Ms. Kiefer's report. So I do feel that revocation is appropriate. I do also feel that some additional jail time is appropriate. While it's fantastic that he's been negative since June of this year and he's compliant with his other treatment modalities at this point, he wasn't compliant with this court. So that's certainly a sanction I think should be provided by a jail term.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, I'll give you the last word. Is there anything you want to tell me?
No, sir. I'm just sorry. I violated.
Well, you were there. The victim was so angry about all the ramifications of this and contends that she had life-altering, continuing injuries as a result of this. Your alcohol use was downplayed. She felt that alcohol was a big factor in this.
It wasn't, sir.
Well, it was just sort of an afterthought in the police report. And I don't think they even did a test.
They did.
Did
at
they?
my house. Yeah, on Blue Zeros.
All right.
When they came from the police report.
Okay. Anyway, alcohol was an issue, and obviously it was an issue because you were unable to comply with the terms. You also, between September and now, have only paid $160 towards your fines and costs. I'm going to wipe those out. I think you did 10 days and a couple stints of 2 days, or maybe one stint. Let's take a look.
I think it was one stint, sir.
All right, I think you've done 12 days. I'm going to order 14 days credit 12, leaving 2 days to serve. I'm waiving your fines and costs. Your probation is revoked.
Your Honor, with his medical, could we schedule those days with all?
Yes, I'll
Thank
have
you.
Autumn schedule it. This case comes to an end. There was never a good solution. I understand there was some sort of a resolution of a civil case. The complaining witness has relocated to another state, and this matter's closed. I want you to go with Autumn, and she'll schedule when you're going to do that additional jail time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mr. Matheny is here. Tim, is your guy here?
I heard he was gonna be a little bit late.
Called the office about 12:30, said he was not
Okay.
late.
Let's do Mr. Matheny. This is another probation violation and another probationer that I think would just soon get this over with, doesn't wish to be on a probation. Mr. Matheny was placed on a probation for malicious destruction of property. It's alleged that he failed to report on a monthly basis, failed to notify probation officer of change of address or employment, failed to pay fines and costs, failed to abstain from the use of drugs or alcohol, and failed to seek or maintain employment. We had that hearing in June. A petition was in June. Defendant was here on July 9th, pled guilty to those allegations, and the hearing was set for today. The defendant has since paid restitution to the complainant. Said he's paid all his fines and costs. He is kind of living here and there. I was pleased to see that things had been paid. Daniel, if we have an admission, what's your recommendation?
Well, when I had originally made this, I just recommended the 5 deferred days because he hadn't paid any money. But since I think after his last court date, I believe I can't remember the date, but he did pay everything off. I think there's still a $4 balance, which obviously I would ask that just be waived at this point. I definitely think there should be a sanction here because I haven't been able to gain him in treatment nor test him on a regular basis. I did put him on weekly testing, but he has a very difficult living situation, which is pretty much hither than there. I would probably just ask the court to consider maybe 2 or 3 days in jail and be done with probation at this point.
All right. Mr. Paul Gibson is here with the defendant. Mr. Gibson, what does your client wish to do?
He indicates that he will admit that he is in violation of his probation. And as far as sentencing, he's asking the court to consider credit for time served and fines and costs.
All right, Mr. Matheny. This is a strange case I'll talk about a little bit. You've been struggling. You've been appropriate with me. I've known you before this and then in the course of this. Are you working at Precision Wire?
Correct.
Right now?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Are you missing work right now?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
Just a week.
Well, okay, let's go back to this. Are you going to acknowledge that you violated your probation by failing to report, failing to complete your treatment or participate in treatment, and eventually paying your fines and costs? I guess what we got here is failing to report on a monthly basis. That's legit. You paid your fines and costs.
I'm not testing on a regular basis.
And not testing on a regular basis. Are you willing to admit to those 2 aspects of your probation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody threaten you to get you to do that?
No, sir.
And just like the last guy, you understand that you'll be giving up your right to have the hearing on that violation.
Yes, sir.
All right. You never really owned this. It's a weird situation. your neighbors contended that you were shooting at their house with a paintball gun and broke their window. And there's a video of you doing it, wearing the same clothes they found at your house and the same shoes. So it was weird and spooky, and they don't know why you were mad at them. You don't live there anymore. I don't think your mom lives there anymore either. Did she move also?
No, sir.
She's still there,
Correct.
but you're not living there.
No, sir.
So there's an underlying mental health issue that your mom is concerned about. Tim, your client just came in. And I'm concerned about. I remember when you were in school, I talked about your brothers. I confused you with your brother. His brother got convicted of a criminal charge and was sentenced to the probation center. He was a senior in high school. And they told him he couldn't go into the probation center unless he cut his hair, which I thought was a stupid rule then, and I think even more of a stupid rule now. But he said, no, I don't want to cut my hair. So I'm going to do my time in jail. And they let him out of school every day, or out of jail every day, so he could go to school. My wife was his guidance counselor, and she bought him an alarm clock that he could use at the jail to wake himself up for school. And that young man graduated from high school. He kept to his principles. He wouldn't cut his hair, and he completed his sentence. And Cody's kind of cut from the same cloth. He has strong feelings about things, what he thinks is right and what he thinks is wrong. And but there's something going on that none of us have really gotten a handle on. So let me ask you a couple questions, Mr. Matheny. You're working at Precision Wire, and that's pretty good. And don't tell me your address, but what town are you living in?
Three Rivers.
Who do you live with?
My brother.
Mr. Gibson, what's your thought? You've heard Mr. Frazine's recommendation.
The defendant has paid, if he's paid the restitution, I think that was the number one most important thing. So there's a presumption that there shouldn't be any further jail time. And so I'm asking the court to sentence the defendant to credit for time served, but I guess in the alternative, I would just hope that if he could serve a weekend in jail and he could schedule it around his new work schedule so he can keep his job at, I think he said he had started, where was it again?
Precision Wire.
Precision Wire. So I'm asking the court to, if jail time is required, then I'm asking that it allowed to be scheduled so he can not have it interfere with his employment.
Well, I'm pleased that he's employed. Ms. Canfield, what's your thought here?
I will give the defendant accolades for having paid off his fines and costs in the restitution, as well as being employed. However, he failed to comply with this court's orders as he's pled. And it's hard to keep a watch on someone to assist him to fully rehabilitate, particularly if he is not even testing for drugs or alcohol during the time he's purportedly on probation with the court. Once again, snubbed his nose at the court and his probation agent and failing to comply because he just didn't feel like it. So I would ask that the court follow the recommendation for a few days of additional jail. I have no objection to that being on a weekend so we can maintain his employment.
Mr. Matheny, I haven't solved your puzzle. You and I never got on the same wavelength. Like I said, you've been polite, respectful, and appropriate, but you're always about half a step removed back, been very reserved. Is there anything else you want to tell me?
What do you want to know?
Well, let me ask the simplest question. How are you doing?
I guess I'm doing okay. Not the greatest.
Are you on any medication?
I am.
All right. One of the issues is you're depressed. Life isn't always wonderful and great, and sometimes it's hard. And you've had some struggles. But I never got through to you, and I never got what I'd hoped to have some sort of a breakthrough. Maybe I'm just unrealistic. Mr. Gibson indicated there's a presumption that there isn't any jail on many offenses. However, in this case, you were in jail for 25 days and I let you out. And I said, I'm going to hang 5 days over your head for you to comply with the terms of your probation, which then you didn't do until we put the screws to you. When did he get arrested? When the no. All right, I ordered 30 days. I'm going to change it to 27 days. Credit 25 means there's 2 days to serve, which will be scheduled by the probation department. As Ms. Camfield said, there should be some consequence. I'm going to waive any unpaid fines and costs. Your probation is revoked. As soon as you complete the jail sentence. I don't want you to lose your job. Precision Wire seems to have trouble keeping people, but I've been seeing the inside of the plant. That looks like a decent place. But I'm glad you're employed. I'm going to get off your back is what it amounts to. And I hope you don't come back for a while. I wish you better. I know some guys that are similar in age and issue. I hope you don't have to come see me anymore. All right, I'm off your back. I've waived the balance of your fine and costs. Your probation is revoked as soon as you complete the jail sentence. And you have 2 days jail to do. You go with Daniel. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Troy Heemster was late. He did call and say he was going to be late. That's at 1. Other matters, Ms. Nickerson was here, and I think, I'm not sure where she is. And James Jelinek, I don't know if he's here or not. So let's wait a minute. Which case are you here on, ma'am?
Here, for my house.
All right, are you Rebecca?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, we met a few times, but I can't keep anybody straight. What is this? Stacy Adams. Hi, do I have a arraignment on Stacy? All right, thanks. Okay, all right, bye. All right, Judge Patterson's got some jail arraignments. I'm not sure where the magistrate is today. I had it on my docket. A bunch of stuff. Gee whiz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, Judge P. The parties are here from the village on Nickerson. Just see how I want to proceed. How are we doing there? Are things good or not good? Not good?
Not good.
All right, let's finish the other matter first.
Yeah, I got a dump trailer coming in this weekend.
All right, we'll
for the
get,
stuff that's in the back.
all right, we'll get to you here in a minute. It's not your fault. This defendant was late. You're set for 1:15. Sometimes when schedulers get optimistic on how much I can do in 15 minutes. Jelinek, no, it's off my docket. He's not here. He is set for. $129. Do you have any more cases pending, Doug?
Today, you mean?
No, but you're gonna finish up the cases that you have.
Oh, I'll probably get some more before the end,
So when's the end
December 31st
of next year?
this year.
Next year would be good. Then it would be when I'm go.
I figure with some of the things I have, I'll be here next year, so.
Yes.
And I'm not going anyplace right away, so you're stuck with it.
Okay. I don't have Matt Huff either. Well, I guess I don't necessarily need one on a zoning case, but we'll put that in there. Good afternoon, Mr. Huff. Mr. Heemstra was a little bit late.
He's here now.
He's meeting with Tim George right now.
had a document. So I was gonna try to get copies. but I don't have them.
I'll make copies if you want.
Copies of this. but I'm sure.
Is this boss?
This-
Yeah.
this supervisor. And then I get another one from another supervisor, but I was able to print that.
Thanks.
Well, thanks, Coach.
Yes, thank you.
We have a number of documents that were brought with them. I just want to make sure we're counting.
Well, Matt stopped to see me late yesterday and said out of the blue, they got a hold of the guy. And, all right, we're going to address our last probation violation here. This is file number 241084 FY, People versus James Martin. Troy Martin, James Heemstra. Troy Heemstra is how I know him. He was charged with resisting, obstructing a police officer and stalking. Was reduced to attempting to resist, obstruct a police officer and stalking. There were two separate judgments. In the stalking case, I gave him 37 days credit, 37 days, and some fines and costs, and a probation of 6 months. In the attempted resisting and obstructing case, I gave him 37 days credit, 37 days. So the probation was on the stalking. And as indicated, that was July of 2024. Well, it hasn't gone very well. The probation, this was a troubling. There was a PPO. He was not to have contact with the petitioner in the PPO, which he did more than once. He threatened to kill him and burn her house down, and he refused to come out of the basement. So they had to get a search warrant, go in the house, find him hiding under a doily or something, and he was arrested. He did 37 days in jail. Well, I let him out of jail. There's a presumption of no jail and no probation. But this was troubling to me because he continued to violate my PPO order. I don't remember whoever's order it was. So I ordered 6 months probation. I wanted him to get some mental health counseling and substance abuse counseling and sign a release. He was going to go into an inpatient treatment program, which he did. And it was a condition of his probation that he not leave the program without permission, which he did.
Oh. I completed.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
I'm sorry.
Here's what it says in the status report. Mr. James Heemstra began probation in July of 24. He reported well for the first few months. He was accepted into an inpatient program in Kalamazoo, 90-day program followed by sober living reentry plan. And I thought that was great, a great plan. Mr. Heemstra left the program and has been absconded since November of 2024. I'm recommending 90 days as a recommended jail sentence. And probation be revoked. The judgment did not have any specific stalking, any specific number of jail days held well over your head. So there was a probation violation petition filed by Mr. Huff. That he failed to report on a monthly basis. We actually had lost track of them since sometime in 2024. So Matt filed the probation violation petition on June 5th. There was a hearing on July 9th. Frankly, we didn't expect he was going to show up. And lo and behold, he did. And Judge Pattison dealt with him on July. I'm not sure what happened. If he didn't show up, I guess he didn't show up, and a bench warrant issued for his arrest. He got arrested, and Judge Pattison saw him while I was on vacation. Actually, I was here on July 17th. I didn't leave. No, I left on the 17th. So the defendant pled not guilty, and the matter was set for hearing today. Again, Matt had not heard from the defendant, and you heard from him yesterday. Is that correct, Matt?
That's correct.
All right, so maybe we'll get a bit of an update. So as in the last case, now Mr. George has provided us with some stuff.
There is a letter there from the Gilmore Center talking about the completion of the initial program there, and then there's some testing records from the sober living facility that he was at. I believe there's also a letter there from one of the area supervisors for his current job. Two of them. You should have two of them.
All right. Now again, you hadn't heard from him, all of a sudden you heard from him. Got some new information. What are your thoughts at this point, Mr. Huff?
I don't quite know how to sum that up for you, but I'll do my best. This is a difficult situation.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the fact he didn't show up for his probation violation arraignment. He got arrested.
Correct.
And Judge Pattison saw him on July 17th. So all that was under my radar. I knew this hearing was set for today. And then you came up late yesterday afternoon and said, I just heard from this guy. So last I knew, he hadn't done anything I'd asked him to do. Well, he hadn't successfully done what I asked him to do. Then he went AWOL. Then he didn't show up for his PV. Then he got arrested. And here we are. So I guess as best you can sum it up.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot that I can add in regards to what's going on new with Mr. James Heemstra, other than what's already been discussed. He's provided documents to the court to show that he's employed full-time. He added a couple of documents that showed he completed the Gilmore Center program and then was enrolled in a sober living reentry program, which he did not leave on the best of terms, but he did substantially complete. He didn't complete. He stayed there for a substantial amount of time. Then the probation violation arraignment went out, didn't show up, was arrested. Probation violation hearing was scheduled for today. Talked to him yesterday, got a brief synopsis of everything that's been discussed right now. Don't have a whole lot to add on catching the court up to date other than that.
Well, you would recommend, I didn't have any deferred jail like I did in some of the other cases, just a 90-day jail sentence. Unlike some of the defendants, he did do some positive stuff. he did treatment, he did sober living, then we just lost track of him.
That's true, and I would be, I would modify my recommendation after speaking with Mr. James Heimstra, but obviously he's got to make a plea for the probation violation here today before we get to that.
Well, the allegations, let's go back to square one. You were put on probation in July of 2029 for stalking. And it was scary. Threats to burn the house down, kill everybody. You're hiding in the basement. The cops have to get a search warrant, kick the door in. So I took a leap of faith and let you out of jail and put you on a probation. Then you failed to report. So the allegation is that for several months, you'd failed to report to your probation agent. We lost track of you. It's in November of 2024. So November, December, January, February, March, April, did you fail to report to your probation officer?
Yeah, I missed my last 2 reports. It was supposed to be over in January. I think I did for November, December.
All right, so you missed November, December, and January.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, well, that isn't how it works. If you abscond from probation, then when the original 6 months is up, it doesn't just expire. So anyway, I guess you went off the grid. So do you understand, by making those admissions, you're giving up your right to have a probation violation hearing? Do you understand? All right, yeah, if that was the way it worked, you're on a 12-month probation. You stop reporting in June. You're put on probation January 1st. And then the following December 31st, the probation just ends. We'd have even more absconders than we do now. You're not off probation till I tell you you're off probation. So, all right, since November, what have you been doing?
Well, I got a job while I was in the sober living place at McDonald's, just whatever job I could get.
Which McDonald's?
Gold Road. I was actually there when one of the guys tried to stab a woman to death right behind me. Just a little traumatic.
Yes.
But then I kept doing good, like they say in the letters that my supervisors wrote. I was smoked a little bit of weed because I refused. They tried to put me back on the methadone clinic, and I refused. I refused the Suboxone. I refused all medications. And
well, I'm glad you're off. So you're off the methadone?
Yes, sir. Still to this day.
Okay.
I did have one relapse. I'm just gonna be real with you and tell you, and I had to get Narcan, just like you said.
That's what he said. You almost OD'd. What did you take?
Someone gave me a line of some fentanyl.
Yeah.
And next thing I knew, she was Narcaning me, and I was scared out of my mind.
Well, you don't have the tolerance that you had, and fentanyl. Oh, Jesus.
Which is exactly why you said you put me on probation. You were worried about that. And which this would have been like around November.
When you said she Narcaned you, who did that?
Casey. She Narcaned me, brought me back, and it scared the hell out of me. And so now
where did that happen?
At the house.
So Casey, the person you're accused of stalking, you and she are back together?
Like I said, I'm just gonna be real. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Is the PPO still in effect?
No, sir. It's
okay.
Expired.
Well, if you guys get back together, that's up to her.
Which she was hoping to maybe even have a chance to speak.
Well, I'll
with you
hear
or
from her.
something, but this is all technicalities.
All right.
So from what I understand.
When did you OD?
Like, I don't know the exact date. I know it was after I left the sober living, which that was just because, I was at work.
Casey, when do you think it was?
Was that in December? Okay, December. And I overdosed, got Narcan, and it scared the hell out of me. And so I ended up giving in, and I got on this Suboxone because at least that's better than that. damn
Suboxone's better than methadone. Is it, are you do the injectables?
The strips.
I'd rather. all
I
right.
wanted to do they apparently
give
they
you a
have to
shot.
put you on the strips for a while and then they can do like the shot in your stomach or whatever,
Yes.
which is like once a month or whatever, but I'm still on the strips right now. Which I just do, I don't even take a full strip. Because my whole goal of being in rehab, and I told you, like, you know, my plan and everything during court, that I just wanted to be not shackled to have to take medications and be able to get the kind of jobs that I wanted to get. And that's what happened at McDonald's. I went from being on methadone clinic, never being able to have a first shift job, traveling job, to I'm on salary.
All right, tell me about this job you got.
It's awesome. It's literally like, I don't know, I have 19 stores that I take care of. That I have keys to the safe. Like that's why I was late. I had to make sure I got.
Well, what do you
everything
do
covered.
at the stores?
I do traveling maintenance. I do HVAC, electrical, everything. Like in one day, I might.
Well, where'd you learn to do that?
I'm learning as I go. Like,
So you come into the 19 stores and check out their electrical HVAC
Well,
stuff?
just everything. One of the biggest things is getting the darn ice cream machines work. I'm not even gonna lie. I fixed so
I
many
saw it
of
said
those.
things were so bad, the ice cream machine worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, like I mean, I've learned so much. Like,
Well, somebody took a big leap of faith in you to giving you a job like that. Who was that person?
well, I mean, they kind of didn't. I started as a fry cook,
Yes.
and I just went to the grind and just put everything I had into it instead of concentrating on getting high. I worked.
So you work for a subcontractor that works for
I
McDonald's?
basically work directly for the owner. It's not a corporate. I mean,
So this owner
one guy owns 19
19
McDonald's
stores. All right.
between Kalamazoo, Allegan, and Jackson, including the one in Schoolcraft. And there are six of us that are traveling maintenance. There's 4 in Jackson County, and then there's just me and an elderly Jamaican dude that handle all the stores in Kalamazoo and whatever issues they might have. A lot of it consists of
Well, if you can fix the McDonald's ice cream machines, maybe you'll be famous and in worldwide demand.
I get a lot of appreciation.
Well, there's some reasons for it. I've read some articles about.
They're
Why?
automated, so if people don't do the simple things like clean it or fill it when it's empty, they lock themselves out. And the only way to do it is to do a brush clean, which consists of tearing the entire machine apart, changing out O-rings and.
Yeah, some of it's proprietary by the company that
Yeah.
owns the machines.
So
All right, so you're in a much better place than you were.
I feel like I'm in a really good
all right.
place once I'm happy to do whatever it is to get.
And the
this.
person that you're accused of stalking with, you're back in a relationship with her. You're on salary. I don't want to know how much you make, but it sounds like a good gig. Do you have insurance and that sort of stuff?
I've got to wait for open enrollment or whatever for the insurance. So I don't have the insurance now, but I think it's coming up here pretty soon. It's typically in like the fall, and I believe a lot of open enrollments are for insurance, as far as I know.
But your company doesn't offer insurance as part of your salary package?
Not like just give it, no.
All right.
I gotta pay for it. But they do compensate me pretty well.
Mr. George, what's your thought here?
I think, just thinking back to when I saw Troy in the jail, when we first went through this, I think he's moving to be the person that he talked about wanting to be. And, I know that we're not here because everything went perfectly, but I think we're stumbling along to a better life for, Troy and Casey. you can hear the pride that he has in what he's doing. You know, I spoke with him on the phone. I could hear it. He's getting emotional here today. And he understands that there's orders that this court makes, and he has to follow those orders. I think, you know, he did a lot on the front end. He went to the Gilmore Center and then went into the sober living facility. There were circumstances there that he didn't complete it. But I'm not aware of anything, in the way of new criminal charges, any additional issues with the protected party and the PPO that came before the court. So at least to the core issue that brought him on probation to begin with, I don't think we've had any issues. I think the one big thing other than the employment is he's kind of broken himself from the chains of the vicious cycle of the Victory Clinic. I know that was one of the big concerns this court had, was to get him out of that cycle of just staying on that methadone and just becoming a repeat customer. He's doing that. And, of course, we're going to have, relapses and hiccups for somebody who had a significant substance abuse issue, but I think he's doing what he can. My concern would be if the court were to impose a 90-day sentence, it's going to undo everything that he's been working on getting done. I know I had a conversation with Mr. Huff earlier about the possibility of the probation center. I think the concern would be because of the odd hours that they work. I don't know how that would work with the probation center. We would ask the court to consider if there was a jail sanction that was going to be, part of this, is that he would be able to schedule that. He's already talked to his supervisors about, hey, if I've got to do jail and it's going to be, scheduled, we can make those arrangements. So I would just ask the court to consider, what he has done. While it hasn't been perfect, I think it's been substantial, and I think it's really made a change in his life, and I think he's pointing in the right direction.
Ms. Camfield, again, all these cases are new to you, but pretty soon these will be your cases. But do you have any thoughts on this one?
Well, I've read the original police report and share the concerns that the court has already stated on the record. Albeit that they're back into a relationship now, it doesn't negate the behavior that led to the actual conviction. I presume some of it may have been explained perhaps by an addiction, although not excused by it, certainly. And I'm glad that he did go through rehabilitation and he's seeking all the modalities for treatment that would preclude him from being on another drug other than Suboxone to stay off of the one that he has the addiction to. He's obviously been scared and frightened for his life, having to have Narcan to save it. But again, I share the same position each time. When we have an order of the court, it is to be followed. You can't just do part of it or some of it and then ignore the rest because you choose to, or you have a relapse. Take accountability. When you have your relapse, call your agent, say, hey, I messed up, I relapsed, let's get me back on track. And he didn't do that. So I would ask that the court do some type of an incarceration sanction. I certainly not impose to him being at the center where he can have work release or something of that nature. Tether's probably not going to work because of the amount that he travels for work. So I don't think that that's an option, but a sanction is appropriate for the amount of time that he was gone in such a serious offense.
All right. Mr. James Heemstra, are you still at the Fisher Street? Is that Flower Field?
More Park.
Oh, we're at the Moore Park address. Okay. Are you still there? Whose house is that?
Technically, her dad owns the house, but we were buying it. We're buying it from him.
All right. Ms. Fenwick, you're here. Why don't you come up to the podium? Right here. You and Troy are back in a relationship?
Yes, sir.
You're living in the house again in
Yes.
Moore Park?
Yes.
It's your dad's house?
Yes.
Who else lives there?
Just me and Troy.
Are you working someplace?
Not currently.
And he got out of the 90-day program, left sober living at some point, and at some point after Christmas, OD'd. How's it been going since then?
Really good. He's doing really good. He's
When did you drop the PPO?
I didn't actually get a chance to drop it. It expired. I
Oh,
my
so
card
it
broke down,
did-
so I never got to.
When
get
did it expire?
May 1st.
Wonderful. So you guys were all together in violation of the PPO that was in effect in the first place. That was one of my concerns, that he just crashed through the gates of the PPO. But apparently you weren't too worried about it. Anything that happened before that expired, you weren't supposed to have contact with you.
Yes.
All right. And he likes this new job.
He loves it.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yes, he does.
I bought 2 vehicles, insured them both, and I'm licensed.
All right.
I mean, I'm
All
doing
right.
everything I can to be a productive citizen to society.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead, have a seat, thanks. Matt, I'll get to you in a minute. He's where I wanted him to be. He didn't do everything I told him to do, but he's where I wanted him to be, employed, negative at least, and not in a tumultuous relationship. I am concerned that they both blew off the PPO for months. What he's really accused of here, he didn't do that terrible of a job on his probation. He went into residential treatment for 90 days. He did sober living after that. Now he left under unclear circumstances, but his sin here is not reporting. That's what his probation violation is, not reporting. Not using drugs, not failing to comply with treatment, not a new criminal offense, failing to report. So he reported in July, August, September, and October. And then somewhere in November, he split. He thought that probation would just expire by its own terms in January. So he missed November, December, January, then went AWOL. Why didn't you show up for your PV hearing in July?
I didn't remember. The last address they had was the sober living. I'm assuming I never got any paperwork from the
I'm
court.
betting $10 it went to Fisher Street. Let's take a look.
I didn't get anything there, I don't think. I mean, I didn't personally receive it. And
All right, how did you get arrested later in July? You went in front of Judge Pattison.
I was helping somebody move. They needed help moving some stuff. They wanted me to bring them like a bag of ice and stuff. And which I guess somebody, I don't really know the people that much. She knew them, someone that lived down the street. Somebody got arrested, I guess, and their house was vacant. They had all their stuff in it, and they wanted somebody to get their stuff out, which the officers that were there, somebody else, like a neighbor, called them, from what I understand.
Well, that's all really sketchy.
And
Where were you when you got arrested in July?
it was way out in the country. I don't know what road it was. Johnson,
Yeah, where the Dollar General down.
Johnson Road.
which the officers verified that they had permission. They actually called the jail and asked the person, if that's what they wanted, and they said, yeah, and my name ran. I was just sitting in the van, and my name got ran as a result of it.
No, you're right. They sent the notice to Schaefer Street in Kalamazoo. So that's probably why you didn't show up.
The only, I kept meaning to call, and then with my job, I'd go out to try to call them in private, and then someone's yelling my name every 5 minutes, because there's always something breaking, and I would have to run back inside. And then I'd mean to do it, and then I kept I'm not trying to sell any excuses. There ain't no excuse. I had a responsibility.
Well, it sounds to me like you were in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people is what it sounds like, which makes me nervous. So Matt, now that we know more, when you first made the recommendation, you didn't know where he was, what he was doing, what his status was. Now that we talked about this late yesterday, it's like, well, I don't know what the answer is. So what's your recommendation?
Well, frankly, this is a difficult recommendation to make because the bottom line is he's walking the walk for the most part, it sounds like. And he's definitely talking talk, that's for sure. He's got somebody here to speak on his behalf. We've got paperwork in front of us. Yes, he was unsuccessfully discharged from the sober recovery center or the sober recovery program through the place where he went to his initial rehab stay. But I did the tally there. He was essentially in treatment for 90 days, roughly, from July of last year to the end of October of last year. My biggest concern, and I told Troy this yesterday on the phone, is when there's a gap of we don't know, there's no contact being made. I have no idea what's going on in that bubble. I think a lot of the stuff he's talking about, the good stuff, that definitely happened and is happening now. He even was extremely clear and transparent regarding some of his substance abuse creeping back into his life too. So that was a part of that unknown period as well, where we don't really have that clear picture. Typically, in my experience, and this isn't, again, I told Troy this yesterday, this isn't always the case. But if someone's not reporting on probation, it's usually because there's something going on. They're not quite 100% there, and they're afraid that there's going to be some sort of ramification they're going to have to face. They're going to get called into drug and alcohol testing, whatever it might be. I don't know if that's what happened during the last 6 months or not. But the bottom line is, I don't think a 90-day recommendation is going to do that much of a good or that much of a service to the community or Mr. James Heimstra. He does need some sort of a consequence. You can't just blow the court off as far as the court order that the judge issues for probation, regardless of whether or not it's on Article 3 for failure to report, or Article 8, or Article 10, or Article 12 for failure to, or assaultive or threatening behavior, 13 for or 14 for failure to participate in treatment. It doesn't really matter. There's got to be some sort of a sanction, but I would like to see Mr. James Heimstra get on with his life without too much damage done, because I don't want to see him back on another case. But jail is certainly appropriate. I contacted Twin County Probation Center. They are not available for the next 30 days or so as far as receiving clients in to stay. So that's not an option unless there's some sort of a delayed sentence where he goes in 30 days. Those are my 2 cents on the issue.
All right. This is an odd day, which these sentences are similar, but you didn't do what I asked you to do. You did some of it, then you blew it off. You were upfront about your relapse and continued recovery. You're also upfront about blatantly ignoring the terms of the PPO.
That's why I didn't. When I had to leave there, which it was literally just because I smoked weed, instead of getting back on methadone. And I didn't report because of, like, I went back there.
Yeah, well, he was right. You were afraid of having the hammer drop.
I wasn't court ordered to do a 90.
Did he pay any fine and costs?
I can pay it all tomorrow.
No, I just have his balance after deducting an oversight fee.
So he didn't pay any fines and costs. He didn't complete
I
stuff.
will add, I did omit, he has 41 days jail credit in this case already. He did 37 up front, and then he's done three,
more?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe he's done 3 when he got picked up on the warrant.
All right,
So
I didn't know that. I had 40 credit 1. All right, so he's done 42 days, credit 40, leaving 2 days to serve.
Didn't I have 41 days? Because I got arrested 3 times in the 1 week. Like,
yes,
I did like 3 or 4 on top of the 37.
I gave you 5 days credit on top of the 37.
Okay, sorry.
But
can I clarify one thing?
Yes.
That seems to be confusion. I wasn't court ordered to do just over a living. I did that on my own.
I know.
I completed what you asked me to do.
It says, well, you didn't because you stopped.
I graduated the rehab.
And it says in here, this was a client at Community Healing Center from 7:30 to 8:13. That's 14 days.
Yeah.
Successfully completed the program at that date. You didn't do a 90-day program. You did a 14-day program. And then, yes, you
I
did
went
that
to
on your
another
own.
program after that.
Yes.
Oh,
That's why I'm only giving you 2 days instead of 90 days. Because you didn't do what was directed. You violated your PPO. But you're where I wanted you to be employed, in treatment, drug-free. I'm getting off your back. I didn't pay anything during this, but I'm waiving all your fines and costs. You got 2 days to do what you'll be scheduled by the probation department. We go with Mr. Huff. Do you need these back, Tim, or are these my copy?
You want them, sure.
no, I have.
Well, we'll make sure we get.
I have bad eyes. Those are just the,
Those are the
letters
originals, yeah.
and stuff.
If you need them
No,
back,
I
we'll
don't
take
need
copies,
those.
but I'm off your back. I waived the money that you didn't pay. I hope you can stay on the path you're on, or it'll be worse than a Narcan. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You must,
Order ice cream at
thank you
McDonald's.
personally for all, cause, yeah, it sucked being in jail and going through the sickness cold turkey, but
Yes,
I needed it. And my life's been better because of it. I just wanted to thank you
well,
for
I'm
that.
glad to hear it, and I hope it continues to go well for you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Huff.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, we're gonna switch gears here. I'm gonna stay right in the chair. I'm gonna stop the live stream and restart it.
These are mine.
All right, let's talk about that. Judge Middleton had a busy docket, but one case in particular stood out. People v. Edwin Otto Smith. From the outset, you could tell this was a long-running and somewhat messy probation saga. Smith was originally convicted of failing to stop at the scene of a personal injury accident and was placed on probation with a clear no alcohol condition. The court record shows that alcohol had been an undercurrent from the very beginning, and today's hearing was about whether Smith had violated that probation yet again. His attorney, Jordan Hardin, came prepared and essentially acknowledged that Smith was ready to admit to the violation rather than go through a full-blown hearing. Judge Middleton, in his usual straightforward manner, laid out the choice, contest, the violation, and forced the court to weigh the evidence or admit the slip-ups and move straight to sentencing. Smith, for his part, admitted that, yes, vodka had been his drink of choice straight shots for his nerves, as he put it, which the judge quickly noted was a glaring red flag. What followed was a round table of perspectives. Probation officer Adam Kiefer, who's been in the trenches with this case, gave a nuanced view. On one hand, Smith had been clean in his recent tests since June, which was encouraging. On the other, his spotty compliance and unpaid fines made the probation seem more like a stalemate than a path forward. Kiefer essentially recommended closing the book, wipe out the fines, credit the jail days already served, and just end the probation. Hardin echoed that line of thinking, stressing Smith's health issues, employment struggles, and the practical reality that probation wasn't really helping him anymore. But prosecutor Angela Camfield wasn't going to let it slide so easily. She reminded the court that compliance isn't optional. If every probationer could just decide when they were done, the whole system would collapse. She pressed for at least some additional jail as a consequence for multiple violations. Over time, Judge Middleton clearly saw both sides. He noted Smith's checkered history, missed payments, prior violations, and the angry victim from the underlying case who felt her injuries were minimized and alcohol's role underplayed. At the same time, the judge acknowledged the futility of dragging probation out indefinitely. His solution was classic Middleton, pragmatic, balanced, and tinged with that dry humor. He credited Smith with 12 days already served, ordered to more days in jail, wiped out the remaining fines, revoked probation, and effectively closed the matter. As he put it, there was never a good solution here, but at least it's over. From my perspective, this hearing had a little bit of everything, Kanda. From the defendant, a pragmatic defense lawyer, a probation officer trying to be fair, and a prosecutor making sure accountability wasn't forgotten. Judge Middleton managed to thread the needle, giving Smith closure while also reinforcing that probation orders are not optional guidelines. The overall atmosphere was businesslike but not hostile, and you could sense a collective relief in the courtroom when the case finally wrapped up. This wasn't a dramatic showdown, but more of a slow exhale on a case that had dragged on longer than anyone wanted. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one,